Hello again and welcome back, you chittering masses. Let's take a look at turn number 27, the Skaven game. So a lot to go through here. Let's just start out going through the messages as usual. So this is the Chaos Dwarves claiming a throne. There's quite a few thrones being claimed and we fallen behind a bit on that, so we definitely want to think about what we're going to do to make sure we're in the running for winning both thrones. We've got a magic site in Titan's Wrath Peaks, a smolder stone. I think that's just one fire gem. The blood economy is starting to go now. So I'm not really going to be happy with this blood economy until I'm getting kind of around 50 slaves a turn. That's really what we want to be aiming for. But this is over 20, so it's a good start. We've got two battles. That's the two Altdorf provinces we attacked. Somewhat strong province defense, but I don't predict that my forces are going to have any trouble with that. Bit of a shame we didn't have any blockers for the heavy cavalry charge there, but and it was enough to trigger gem usage. So for those who don't know, your mages won't spend gems if they're on conservative gem usage, but just in general, unless the enemy has got enough forces for them to bother spending gems. And yeah, this was enough PD that it did trigger gem usage. Anyway, it's good to show the enemy that we've got these fire elementals. I think maybe make them a bit more cautious. Silver Wall, this is the Sense Bearers and Pestilence Plague Priest. Attacking very small PD, so that's a very easy win. Let's just have a quick look at our casualties. A Council Guard, couple of Clan Rat Storm Vermin, fine. And in Silver Wall, losing a Sense of Bearers, not fantastic. It would have been better if we just had Clan Rats moving in there, but you know. And then this is Altdorf's counterattack. So they're attacking to relieve the fort in Mornwoods, and this is a fairly large battle. So let's take a look at what they've got first. Up here we've got 5 mechanical men. Mechanical men are pretty nasty, and they're very resistant to the kind of things that I'd be throwing around. This is why I would really like to have them as a front line, because I can put my weapons teams behind them and not worry about friendly fire. Well, there's very little damage going to be done by friendly fire. They've got an Adept of the Iron Order. So yeah, not totally sure how they've got him, but he's probably going to be casting... So they've got Amulet of Anti-Magic. That means that they've got at least Construction 4. That's interesting, unless they've picked up from somewhere else. And he's going to be casting Earth Elementals, I think. They've got the Grandmaster of the Fiery Heart, and that's the Sacred Knight Order, but they don't seem to have a priest there to bless them. So a good number of heavy cavalry, some crossbows, and some mercenary spearmen, I think. And then Earth Elementals from him, very strong. Earth Elementals here as well. Big boulder biceps. Nice little pun. Over here, our forces, lots of chaff and weapons teams, a couple of mages, and then crucially our god, who's capable of fighting almost all of this on her own, I would think. Maybe not all of it, but she's not going to have to. So, a nice... lost one of our weapons teams, and a bunch of them run right at the start there. The crossbows hit them. That is one of the problems, because the crossbows have probably been set to fire archers, and these guys count as archers. Whereas, yeah, if we'd had some Skaven slingers, we should probably do that, make some Skaven slave slingers or gutter runners and put those in, and maybe they would count as archers and take some of the fire. In go the weapons teams, Storm Vermin at front. So these are the Earth Elementals, full-sized Earth Elementals. I'll just have a quick look at one of those. So they've got regen, mindless, etc. Pretty tough. Basically, my glaives are fine against these. They'll trample and like annihilate entire squares of them, but they can be hacked up. And my god is more or less immune to them. So in go the rest of my glaive infantry. You can see that my poison wind mortars are doing great. They landed a hit on the crossbows earlier. I think there's yeah, they did some good damage there, and they just landed a hit on these knights. They're not actually killing things, but they're doing afflictions, reducing the amount of hit points overall. So moving up here to the main fight, see a Vermintide is shredding up a Earth Elemental up there. The god has already killed a couple of Earth Elementals, I think, and my glaive infantry is doing fine. But yeah, she's just really fantastic for putting out the fear aura is good, but just taking out tough enemies. Like here she is. Oh, she's gone past. So something I should point out here is that a lot of my forces have now routed, including a lot of my weapons teams and mages, and this is just because as things are routing and they're maybe getting a bit shot up or they're losing a few, they're basically just taking lots of morale checks, and basically all the Skaven have bad morale and are pretty cowardly, so they'll just run away. But my main block of infantry is fine, and my god is now wading into the crossbows. They have very, very low chance of survival. We've also got both of their mages completely fatigued out. This is the trouble with casting these big elementals. They're probably not going to wake up before my troops get to them, although we'll see. Oh, see, they did wake up, but they're not routed, and now they're casting spells that are sending them back to sleep. So yeah, my god's moving in, killing more crossbows. The Grandmaster flees, so he'll go inside the castle, I believe. They've got destruction as well. I'll have to check what level that's out, but I think that's Alt 4 again, so not new information. And I'll just speed this last bit up. Yep, we get the mages. So, quick look at the battle report. We kill both these mages, which is fantastic. Particularly killing the Adept of the Iron Order is nice. We kill off the heavy cavalry, the mechanical men are gone, Order Knights more heavy cavalry there, and a Demigryph killed, which is nice. Don't get the Grandmaster, but we do get mercenary spearmen and state crossmen out there, so pretty much wipes that army. We did take pretty nasty casualties. 4 council guards, not ideal. The clan rats, that's okay. Skaven Slayer is fine. 18 storm vermin is quite expensive. They're 11 gold each, so yeah, that's, you know, I think it's a bit more than the number of storm vermin I'm making a turn from my capital, discounting the council guard, but it's kind of along the lines of like a stack from my capital that was lost here. Yeah, my weapons teams did okay, but getting one of them shot's not good. So I need to watch out for that and have some troops to draw the fire archers commands from the enemy. Unexpected events. We lose a warp seam. We gain a warp seam. And we gain another warp seam. So yet again, I'm saying that this is too strong. The finding the warpstone seams. I need to tone it down. And then this is great. Some gold. Boots of the Behemoth. Probably not going to use those, but always nice to have an extra item. Verdant Steppe. Lost a bit of income. So then we've got the Deathmatch Arena. Very few people participated, and I talked to people in Discord a bit about this, and for the most part, they just didn't see that, or they forgot to put it in their orders, or a couple of people just said they just didn't have anyone to spare. You know, they're in the middle of a war, so they didn't have anyone. So we get a real mixed bag here. So the first battle is our guy, our brave chieftain, against a completely vanilla orc boss. So he should win that fight because he's just got the better stats. To remind you of his stats, here we go. He's got the heroic quickness. He's got pretty decent stats. He hits fairly hard because he's got a glaive, so that should be a fairly easy win for him. Yep, hits for 21 straight away, so that battle is quickly over with. Then we've got High Elves fighting Ogres. The High Elves have sent a very interesting and funny thing. They have sent a scout who has pretty good precision. You know, it's all right. I'm actually surprised that's not precision 12, but I might have a check of that. And a Just Man's Cross, which is it's not great against an ogre. It might have killed a Bane if it hit them. Fireplate, which is not great armor, and a Ring of Fire, which just gives them fire resistance. I mean, they would have been good against fire elementals. I talked to Purple, who is the player who sent this in, and they basically just did it for a joke. Oh, they've got a nice name as well, Super Cool Arena Avenger. And they are up against a vanilla Ogre Titan. A vanilla Ogre Titan is already a very nasty thing, so, I mean, yeah, they missed with their crossbow bolt. The Titan walks up and splat. And then the final is just me against the ogres. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention here, but I don't think that he's going to do that great. He's only got 18 hit points. The Titan's got, I think, like 20 protection, 19 protection, something like that. And 60-something hit points. He's just not going to hit hard enough. He's probably got the skill advantage, 14, 15. Yeah, you know, he's got the skill advantage. He might be able to dodge some blows. But let's see how our Brave Rat does. You know, I don't want to underestimate him. So chip damage, 1 damage. Lovely, it's a good start. Only 60-something more of those and he'll win. Takes 17 damage and gets a chest wound. Not good. He's got 1 hit point left, but he could still pull this off. This would be an epic victory if he pulled it off. Let's just speed the combat up. Back and forth they go, a few misses each. Oh, a nice hit, 15 damage. Did we cause an affliction? And then another one. No, no affliction. Oh, he does have a fireplate. He's not completely vanilla. 10 damage. Oh, and then he dies. But did we get an affliction on there? No. So overall, that's fine. The ogres win. Gog the ogre tyrant. And then it would be nice to you more. Yeah. The golden sandals was awarded as a prize. I don't really know what the golden sandals do. I suppose we could look that up. We were discovered and attacked by the Dark Elves because they were patrolling, and I'll get to that in a moment. And then here, a couple of interesting things. We've got Morn Woods, they're repairing the fort faster than we can tear it down. That is because lots of our stuff routed, but I am going to look at that and see just how much siege defense they must have there. And in Altdorf, they're repairing the fort faster than we can tear it down, which isn't surprising because we only left 4 giant rats and a scout sieging it. So an interesting thing has happened here, which is that Altdorf has chosen to not break siege, and the reason I think they did that is they didn't have very many troops in here, and they didn't just want to send out mages, and they thought I might, and this is something I would consider, I might have sent lots of troops there to make for a big battle. In which case, if they sent out loads of mages, it could easily go very wrong if they don't have the troops. So what I think they've done is spent the turn just summoning up stuff in this fort to act as a kind of a shield so that their mages can get to work. They predicted wrong. We didn't go there. We went out and hit the rest of their territory. They also attacked here, of course, and didn't quite win. I thought that the Dark Elves would move up, but they didn't. They decided to stay there and patrol. So kind of an interesting situation where no one was quite right about what was going to happen. If we look here, I've got this force, which has... And so they didn't have any leader, so maybe they weren't sieging. That might be what's happened. So I'm not sure if things that aren't... So before I equipped them to the... assigned them to my god, their leader had fled, so they were just sat there in the garrison. And I can't remember if things in the garrison siege automatically or not. I think maybe they don't. So if that is the case, then I have no idea what they have in here. They could be repairing the wall faster because I just had, this tiny selection of commanders left. If they do siege, well, each of these has a very nice siege strength of 2.2 or thereabouts. And so, that is maybe 70, 80 siege strength from them and the commanders. Yeah, and I would have expected that to reduce the walls if they didn't have troops in there. So I think they've probably summoned some things in there, but I don't actually know. But next turn, we're going to have loads in there, because most of our stuff that ran away will be coming back, plus some extra stuff. Yeah, so quite a big commitment for troops coming in. I might actually split these up a little bit more in case there's some fire archers stuff going on, but I don't expect there to be a battle in this province this turn. So moving lots of stuff in to make sure that I crack this. I'm also moving stuff to attack the capital, or move on top of the capital, and the reason I'm doing that is I think they'll now break the siege with a pretty decent force still, but it's possible they'll see I've only got a tiny bit left. They will think, oh, he doesn't want to have a fight in the capital, and they'll only break siege with a small force. I think it will be significant, but I'm going to gamble that if it is small, that this force will do, enough to kind of take it out. And I was going to send in loads of rats, but I have realised, I'm going to change their orders, that if the enemy has made fire elementals, these are purely a liability. Even if they make just one big fire elemental, the rats will do nothing to it. They'll all get killed, and they'll cause, more likely to cause their side route. So instead of those rats moving in, where are they coming from? Not over there. Oh, here's another interesting thing. Because this is a cave province, I can recruit Mulder-Pack Masters, and the higher quality of clan rats there. It's a little advantage the Skaven have, so I'm getting a few things there. Yeah, these pack masters, instead of going and taking this, I don't want them down here because there's going to be a supply issue. All the rats will eat the food. So I think I'm just going to have them patrol. I'll actually just move one over there. Yeah, that will cut down on the amount of... Thankwell, where are you coming from? I'll just pause this while I find where he's coming from. Okay, he was back here in this province. There were two packmasters moving there. So what I'll do is just move them to just take down some of the unrest, I guess. So if I move them up here, yeah, and they'll meet up with some other packmasters and things there. So we want them around so that they can patrol down the unrest and so on. But yeah, we're just moving more forces in here. We're planning on besieging this. We're not planning really on having any more battles unless they break siege, in which case they're going to run into this force, which is just some glaives, a weapons team, another weapons team back here, and then just some assorted stuff. So it's nothing that significant. I'm sending in some Nordor's going to cost a couple of big fire elementals because that could do a bit of damage. And I'm hoping this is enough to kind of activate their gem use, so they burn some gems on taking them out. But I'm expecting to lose the battle for the capital there. But that's fine. I might actually send in one of these. Yeah, I'll send in one Packmaster without any troops, and he'll just be there to, he generates 2d6 plus 2 giant rats when he actually goes into the fight, so there'll just be a few more giant rats running in there, in case that's useful. Right, so more troops moving in, more mages moving in. We've got lots of gold. A thing that I want to do is to try and kind of push Dominion here as well, so that my god can move around a bit more freely. We are planning on taking Altdorf out completely now. It's looking like that's going to be a possibility, so we're going to try and do that, but the cap's going to be very hard to take, so we might just have it under siege for a long time and be dealing with kind of breakouts and things. So I'm kind of building some containment for that, throwing province defense up, building up our research elsewhere. Have I assigned all the items? Yep, we've got the behemoth boots just sitting in the laboratory there. They just give trample, so they're only interesting on something big, and my god doesn't actually want that. And then, yeah, we're moving Scroll across, because we might need more troops here. I'm not really sure. I think possibly it would be better to stay back, because I don't need the troops there. This is a significant army. They can move there pretty quickly. Skrolk can actually do something useful in the meantime, because he's a Holy 3. If I give him 3 blood slaves, because this is a nation that can blood sacrifice, he can do a blood sacrifice to push my dominion a bit, and that's something I can easily afford. I want to build some more temples in the middle of my territory and maybe get some more blood sacrifice going to push my dominion out a bit, and maybe get so at the moment I've got 7 holy points a turn, but I'd like to go up to 8 holy points a turn by building more temples and getting my dominion up. More site searching and so on. So here's the thing that I am worried about. Slaanesh can make Marauder Cavalry. Marauder Cavalry, we've already seen them beat me up in a cave. They're very good. There are other stealthy troops, obviously, that other nations can make, but I think that's the one I'm most worried about. And if I have a look at what they're like in the Pretenders of the World and then Slaanesh's Real Men Wear Pink, have a look at Marauder Light Horsemen. Oh, they're not stealthy. Okay, so that's good. I was worried that he might have been sneaking lots of stealthy troops in, but it's not very likely. He may be moving cultists around, but yeah, not very likely he's moving troops. Okay, it's possible with the Dark Elves, but a thing that we'd want to do is there's a few choke points on this map where stealthy units would have to pass through as they walk around my territory, and I just want to get the patrolling up a bit and maybe get the province defense up a bit to catch them if somebody is trying to do the same thing that we have done to Britonia and are now doing to Altdorf to us. Because turnabout is not fair play in the eyes of Skaven. So the only other thing to look at is, research-wise, still going for construction and conjuration. Really, I should just be going with conjuration to get my ridiculous death income turned into spectral mages, I think. But I did say I would show you Doom Wheels, so we'll keep going with construction. I am making Packmasters, Molden Mutators, who have got the dowsing bonus because I want to get my blood economy going, and just making some Rat Ogres because they're good for sieging and the like, and for soaking up fire. I think over here, now having realised that the enemy can do that nasty trick with our forces, I'm going to want some Skaven Slave Slingers. Are we moving someone in there that can lead them? Yes, we've got plenty of people there that can move. So we're preaching to knock the Dominion down and we're moving our troops around a bit. We've still got a fairly significant force sitting there, enough to ward off any minor things that would come through. But I don't think anything can attack because they're still locked in the cap. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, bar the recruitment. Packmasters, more to replace my losses, more Council Guard and Storm Vermin. Still doing a Grey Seer here. Because we've got lots of gold, getting some Censer Bearers and a Plague Priest. And up here, more Censer Bearers because lots of gold, as I said. Rat Ogre, and we're still doing our Adepts of the Silver Order. We will eventually have Adepts of the Silver Order. Oh, we've got one spare commander point because it only takes one to finish. So we could start another Adept of the Silver Order, but that costs a lot. Let me pause the game and go and make use of that commander point. So I literally just unrecruited some Rat Ogres then to get the gold back. And then we can have a 1-point commander to fill this slot in, or we could put another point towards this 4-point Silver Order Adept. I think I'll just have one other commander. So I would like to have an Eshin Assassin. Need to have some more resources, so I'll take away that. That's fair, and we'll just save the last bit of gold, I think. Yeah, so let's have a quick look at diplomacy before I finish. So I've not really zoomed out on the map before. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm just going to quickly turn off some of these. I just want to have flags and forts, Dominion, Labs, Temples, Magic Sites. Oh. And not armies and arrows, thank you. So here's our empire, the glorious empire of rats. Looking very nice, kind of a chicken wing shape or a dog leg. We're hopefully going to retain all of this. We've got orcs are a new neighbour for us. Orcs are currently fighting against high elves. I haven't really got the scouts down there, but I should get some and move some scouts down there. Maybe I'll throw in some scout recruitment. We've got Tilea, which is north of Altdorf. I was worried they were going to attack my throne, but I now see that they've gone for the Ogres. So we've got a nice new war brewing here between Ogres and Tilea. That's good. It doesn't involve us, and it could be an opportunity. Chaos Dwarves and Lizardmen have finished off Nehekhara. I'm concerned that they might both go after me because I'm fairly large. I'm fairly vulnerable along this flank. I don't have a huge amount of stuff there, although they may not know that because we have stealthy troops. I am very worried about the size of the Lizardmen. I know they're at least this big. They have some other provinces here. Yeah, they're pretty big. And then Slaanesh is also worried. So we do have multiple neighbours. I'm not so worried about the Ogres or Dark Elves because I talk to them a lot. I don't think they're going to attack me. But I'm somewhat worried about Slaanesh, the Lizardmen, and the Chaos Dwarves could all decide they want a piece of Skaven. Just have to bear that in mind. Kind of keep some troops back like I'm doing with Skrulk there. Make sure I don't overcommit to this war because at the moment it's looking pretty peachy. So that's more or less everything to talk about diplomatically. I think that Chaos Dwarves and Lizardmen are both free from wars. I think Dark Elves are somewhat free from wars, but I know they did raid. They'll hit anything along the coast, and I know they were raiding the Orcs previously. I don't know, maybe they'll also go after Tilea down here. Not sure. They could ally with the Ogres. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next turn. Welcome back. It's turn number 28 of my Skaven game. So quite a few messages. Greenskins North have a new prophet, Zog the Black Orc Big Boss. I hadn't seen any Black Orcs from them previously, so that's kind of nice to see. Got some more slaves, not that many. And we saw a battle in Bolthagon, which was the Dark Elves quickly massacring some province defense. The Lizardmen attacked a throne, so this was a fairly significant throne, full of undead and tons of Yamabushis, which are pretty nasty close-range combatants. And then they've got some pretty good mages at the back here, casting Swarm, things like that. And there's a Shadow Blast, let's see if that does some damage. Yeah, pretty nasty, killed a few Lizardmen. So they've got a lot of their heavy cavalry, they've got their temple guards, we can see their bless, and it's a pretty nice bless. Shock res, poison res, no fire res. So if we were fighting the Lizardmen, we would want to go more the fire route, and very much less so poison. That's just something to bear in mind. They've already got some native poison resistance as well. But yeah, quite a nice rainbow bless there. So quite a bit more powerful. Yamabushi going in there, chopping up some stuff. Not going to do a huge amount of damage, I suspect, because there's just some very nice Lizardman units facing off and lots of elite stuff. And yeah, this is a very big army of Saurus warriors. And these are some of their sacred spawnings. So Saurus of Zlazkotl, I think it's Slazkotl. Yeah, quite a bit. Let's see at the back. They've got one national hero, Gorok, and that's the Nullscale, the leader of this sacred spawning. Yeah, the Yamabushi have broken. Part of their problem there is they just don't have particularly great morale, I think. Yeah, it's not great. For such elite units, they're not terribly keen on giving their lives to the throne. Yeah, so they're basically just going to rampage through the rest of this now. It's pretty straightforward. Just watch them sweep through. Yep. So, another throne taken for the Lizardmen, and casualties-wise, 24 Saurus warriors, you know, replaceable, and the same with Temple Guards. They really didn't lose very much overall. It's a pretty clean victory. We've got the final battle in Britonia, which is the masses of the Ogres fighting against the Bretonnians. So let's have a quick look at what we've got. We've got several Slaughtermasters and Butchers, lots of kind of bodyguards and things, I presume because they're expecting flyers to come in. Some Mournfang Cavalry, which are very strong and very expensive. And then, of course, they're absolutely brutal Sacreds up front to go charging in. And they've been casting Troll Guts, which gives them regeneration. Bretonians have... Oh, let's have a quick look at this before he takes off. So we've got some Guardian Spirit Knights appearing. They've got a big wall of crocodiles. That's just whatever they could summon to hold up the fort, I think. They've got all their remaining mages. Quite a lot of Grail Maidens and one Grail Damsel. Grail Maidens are the weaker ones. Here's their Baron, which they prophesized. Can't do much, you know. There's nothing special about it. And then they've got a Hippogriff Lord. So that's a Grail Lord mounted on a Hippogriff. Very nice unit. That's probably going to fly at the back and do quite a bit of damage. And I think they're casting Protection and probably going to cast Moss Body on it. Not sure. And then they've got some Grail Knights over here with their best mage, which is the Grail Prophetess. Oh, she's got a Skull Mentor. Yeah, so they're going to try and hold up the wall with these. I think their best hope of actually winning is going to come from the Hippogriff. See if he goes to the back. So what buffs did they get on the Hippogriff in the end? Protection, and he's lucky. Doesn't have Moss Body though. He's got Cheat Fate and Protection, I think, or Lucky Protection. Cheat Fate? I'm not sure. More protection for them. They're casting Slime out there. So off he goes to the back. So there's basically two fights that we've got to watch here. There's one over here, which is the Hippogriff Lord trying to get to these mages and kill them all. He's mostly fighting Man-Eaters, so they've got some pretty decent stuff to protect the mages. They're casting Brain Gobbler, but it's not going to have much use. He has very good morale. It's really just a panic spell. And then we've got to fight at the walls. So the fight at the walls is going to go fairly straightforward. They're going to chop up all of these and clear the wall defenders, and then they're going to have to deal with these mages, but also some Grail Knights, so that'll give them a nice tough fight at the very end. Back here, he is doing just fine. Picking up, yeah, not taking much damage, not very fatigued either. He's fighting these guys. He may get to the mages. He's not quite killing them quick enough because there's Noblars and things running in and taking some of his hits. Looks like the gate's fallen, but they're throwing in lots of web, which is a good idea to slow things down. Yeah, web's excellent if you can web up the people at the front. And the swarm, of course. See how he's doing at the back. Yep, still fine. A blood boil, but that's magic resistance negates, and he has very nice magic resistance, being a Grail Lord. He's still got a few of these to go before he gets to the mages. So they have finally started trickling through now. Still lots of web coming in. All defenders. Let's see how the Hippogriff's doing. He has gotten through the last of these bodyguards, so he's going to have a crack at the mages now. So in he moves. One mage dead. Butcher straight away. These guys have got regen. Oh, he got hit hard here. There, let's have a look what happened. Down to the end of the log. Pit fight hit him. Yeah. He's got very good morale, so yeah, the ore doesn't work on him. And yeah, he's in bad shape now. He's not going to last. Yeah, the rider's killed, so it's just the Hippogriff left, and it's routed. Unfortunately, it's going to run away. Okay. And then back here, looks like the Grail Knights are still fighting. Not sure what happened there. I guess they were fighting some units that ran past. Got the Grail Maidens, the last ones. So their moss bodies are getting popped, but they are surviving, and the Grail Knights are going down swinging. Might be able to get a couple more ogres on the way out. But these pit fighters are just too tough, and they got some more tribe in there as well. So this is a blood summon for them, and it's basically a normal bull ogre, but it's sacred because it's got sacred tattoos. So that's that, mostly routed. The Grail Knights go down swinging. I think that was another more tribe ogre that went at the end. Let's have a look at the final casualties. So total wipe for Britonia, but they did take out a butcher, 9 pit fighters, very nice, 2 Mournfang cavalry, 5 Iron Fists, yeah, several Man-Eaters, and 3 more tribe ogres. So I'm going to applaud Britonia here. They have gone down swinging in every fight, inflicting terrible casualties on me, inflicting terrible casualties on the ogres. I mean, particularly the ogres, really, because they lost a lot more mages than I did. And yeah, just nice to see them really going out fighting. But they have been permanently vanquished. No more provinces. So the other battle was us in Altdorf. If you recall, I didn't send a very strong force to attack this, and Altdorf has broken out with not an amazingly strong force, plenty of crossbows to shoot my weapons teams. I think the main thing they've got here really is Thyrus Gorman, who again is going to be hurling out the fire elementals. So I set my poison globes to shoot at the archers, so we're getting in some hits there. The free infantry are not going to last against my Rabbler troops. I mean, they're not great troops, but they're good enough to beat them. And you can see I was casting some of my own fire elementals from my warlock back here. So if the 2 fire elementals crash into each other, it'll basically be a stalemate. So it's a good way of holding enemy fire elementals in place. But yeah, we've cleared the free company. They've routed now. Problem is, every one of my troops that runs into these fire elementals is going to get obliterated. And we are hitting them a bit, we're knocking them down in size, but even the sense bearers, I think I possibly should change this to length 2 because it's a 2-handed flail, it's quite long. Yeah, even those are very short weapons, they're just going to get roasted. So that's our fire elemental, that's ours. They've made more than we have. And they also have Brents de Flammen, who's very fire resistant up here, and my fire elemental can't get anything done against him. So a smart move by them. Yeah, lost their free company, we're getting a bit of poison in there. A bit unlucky with our weapons teams just missing their mages. It's a bit unfortunate. And again, more missing up here, but that's the inaccuracy. It's a bit of lightning hitting them. And we're mostly routed now, our troops are running off the field. So it doesn't look like we lost anything important. I mean, we didn't really send anything important, but yeah, at least they lost a bit. We killed some crossbows, we killed their free infantry. The losses that they're taking, they can't really afford. The losses we're taking, we can, but I'd rather they didn't have their cap back this turn. So we've got some events, couple canyons, lots of cursing, unrest, and misfortune, and a second event in there, which was to get another warpstone seam. Titan's Breath peaks, a warpstone seam collapses. This is becoming a really normal thing for us now, opening and collapsing. This is a very strange one. Drain, death, misfortune, and air gems in Mile Deep, but that actually becomes important in a moment. I'll show you why. Norfang, troll dung has been found. Yeah, so maybe that's a warning that some trolls are going to turn up. We should check on that. Silverwall, another fairy court. Man, we are just burning those fairy courts out. And worldwide misfortune. You know, we already have misfortune 3, so we don't care that much. We've broken into Mornwood, so we can storm that. But our troops there are starving, although they're not starving by much. It's supply 246 usage over 200, so some of them are starving, which isn't ideal, but oh well. So we've lost control of the capital of the Empire, and what we're doing is we're setting up defences in these 2 provinces, because those are the ones I really care about them taking. Not that bothered if they take some of these back. And we are storming here using just our god. We've got some people set just out of the way basically, but I'm giving the god a couple of flamethrowers just to help her clear stuff out in time. And I think I'm going to add in casting of Legions of Steel just to get her protection all the way up. Yeah, and she should be fine. I don't think that there's particularly frightening stuff from the mages in there. If it goes horribly wrong, then I will have been taught a lesson. I might actually... So I don't want to have enough troops accompanying her that if they die it'll cause a rout. So these are 12 each. So that's, 36 hit points. She has 100, so it shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, let's just send 3 of those to try and make sure that they roast some of the stuff and let her get on with her job. A lot of the other troops are moving out, although we're also preaching to keep the Dominion up here. We're also doing a bit of preaching here to keep this up, but this is the defense that we've set up, and we've moved into mages from outside the Altdorf campaign. I've really kind of beefed up the mages I'm sending. So one of the things is I'm sending quite a few guys over who are just doing summon imps, because that is very good against fire elementals, and it's very good for disrupting what the enemy is doing. If they're sending mages out to just move and make fire elementals, things like that, not real armies, which they don't really have at this point, then it's fantastic. It's a good distraction. So making sure we've got summon imps, we're making sure we've got Vermintide, which is not so good against fire elementals, but oh well. And then we've got some guys on attack large monsters. We're making sure we've got the Divine Blessing going. Yeah, and we're on holding attack cavalry with these. So the plan is basically, actually I might move some of these to be on, send these up here. You're on hold and attack rear. Oh, we're letting our province defense move forward. That's why we're on hold and attack rear. I might just put these chappies back a bit, let the province defense really go off, and put them on hold and attack rear most enemies. Try and kind of wait till the province defense is being hit by elementals and things and sweep back and maybe get some mages. And similarly up here, I've got some people on attack rear, but here we're not so much relying on the province defense. We've pushed our formation forward. We're just going to try and rush them. So we've got a few weapons teams going off. These could be a liability with the fire elementals going around, but we'll see about that, I guess. It's really only Thyras Gorman passing them so far, but he's proven to be pretty invincible. And then we've got more summoning of imps, and we've also got 2 guys summoning earth elementals here. They will be able to cast 2 each. Yeah, a bit of Vermintide, another bit of summon imps. I'm also moving in some assassins in case I lose. Over here we've got an assassinate going off. I'm not sure if they've got wall climbing and can get into the wall, or whether they get into the castle, or whether they need to hit people outside. I'm not quite sure how assassinations works and what abilities they have. We'll see. Over here, just some rats and using the province defense. Really nothing terribly exciting. That will probably lose if they attack with anything. I don't think that's a province they'll go for, but it could be. We'll see. So yeah, that's kind of how we're doing things on the Altdorf front. You can see the Dark Elves have taken Bolfagon. They're probably going to move over here and take this, and then they're going to go and look to take the fort. They've got a bit of siege strength to do that. There's 2 things I was worried about over here, which is the Chaos Dwarves are here, but I have talked to them and I don't think they're going to be attacking us. Doesn't seem like they are. And I will sneak scout there. Yep. So I was going to do some blood hunting here, but these guys are actually moving to go and take part in the Altdorf War, the slaves they picked up. So a slight interruption to our blood economy. And then over here, obviously this Lizardman force, having taken this throne, really doesn't have anywhere to go. They could walk over here and take this throne. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But it also wouldn't massively surprise me if they just came and started taking provinces off me. If they do, I do have forces in reserve. I've got some Sensor Bearers, a lot of weapons team stuff, and a good force of Council Guard and Storm Vermin, and I'm still building more Council Guard. Keeping this force down here, patrolling to try and pick off sneaking enemies coming through here and just keep an eye on it, also reducing some unrest. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, actually I should check where Norfangs is, because we had the trolls possibly coming out there, so let's have a look. Unexpected event, Norfangs. Oh, this is here. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, we'll see what happens there. Guess if we're fighting trolls, fire would be good. We could expect that the trolls are going to turn up and send some fire their way. Yeah, let's go with that. We've got province defense here who can stand in the way and get hit. Okay. Yeah, we'll put these in here and they can fire large monsters. They'll go after the trolls and put some guys in on attack rear. That's fine. And these are the back set to hold an attack. So yeah, if trolls turn up there, we might be okay, or we might just lose all that stuff. I'm really not sure. It's not hugely important. We can take it back. So what I was doing with the air gems that I mentioned earlier was I actually had to alchemize one more to get to 8, and then with the Dwarven Hammer I am forging winged boots. Winged boots are for my Pretender because they're better than the boots of Long Strides, and they'll let her be a bit more versatile in combat, attacking rear. They'll also let her pop over and get one of these provinces if I think it's vulnerable. Send her over, she can smash up any PD dumps they do. Yeah, so I think that'll be quite useful. And in general, just building my research up still. I have realised now that I can't get Skrulk to Death 4 using the Death Staff, which is what I was hoping to do to summon Banelord thugs and things like that. Because he doesn't have any hand slots, because he's carrying his Rod of Corruption, that's for it, and the Liber Bubonicus, his book. That's what's important to him, so he's not allowed to carry anything else. I could get around this if I get to Construction 6 by building a copper arm. It's like a mechanical arm that will come out of his back and let him hold something, but it doesn't give him 2 hand slots. So, yeah, still wouldn't be able to give him the Skull Staff. Bearing that in mind, I think at Construction 6 there's Skullface, but there's not really any other way of getting to death, so I really do want to get to Conjuration 6 and get those Spectral Mages going. I can get them, they're only death 3. So I think I might want to put off Construction level 5, but I have very nearly finished it. So I thought, I still do want to do that and show you Doom Wheels, but I'm going to take a detour into Enchantment. The reason I'm doing this is I'm running out of mages to put my research boosters on, and I want to be able to take my research boosters off my mages so that my mages can be sent out to fight and the research can be done more efficiently by something else. And the answer to that is to make lots of Revenants, because I have tons of death gems. I can just make these guys, they cost no gold upkeep, they're just D1s, they're not important, they can just sit there and research forever. So that's basically the plan. The Skull Staff can allow 1 Revenant to summon more Revenants and so on. It will also, along the way, give us Skitterleap and Strength of Giants, both very nice spells. Skitterleap is basically Gift of Flight, area effect 1, gives some guys flying. It can be very good for disrupting formations and getting those mages that are at the back, getting past those big fire elementals and things. So quite looking forward to using that. But yeah, Strength of Giants also very nice for Skaven because they're not terribly hard-hitting creatures. If we kept going up Enchantment, we would get to some other nice stuff. Death Frenzy, Twice Spawn, which would be very interesting. But I think we're just going to get to Enchantment level 3 quick as we can. Back to Construction, finish that, and then Conjuration level 6. There's a lot of research. There really is. I've just noticed that I've got a... Well, I probably don't need more Earth Elemental support. Yeah, I don't think I need to send him... I was just considering whether I can send this guy in to do Earth Elemental support here and really just make sure of it. But let's take a quick look what I've got there. I don't have any Earth Mages there, so if he went there he could search. I think I will send him in. Let's overcommit a little bit and hopefully it'll be useful. So yeah, he's on Summon Earth Power and then Summon Earth Elementals. And I'll put him... Okay, you can right-click on guys in this menu, by the way, and move them around, which is a very nice tip that not a lot of people realise at first playing. But yeah, we've got pretty okay formation already. I'd been messing around with. Okay, I think that's everything for this turn. I will see you next turn.